The following film is brought to you by Time Out. For an afternoon or evening of fun, join your friends at Ray Malavasi's Time Out Restaurant and Sports Lounge. The Time Out features the finest in dining, dancing, and enthusiasm. The Time Out provides the most for your viewing pleasure. Doors open at 11 a.m. and close at 2 a.m. Dinner is served until 1 a.m. Join us on Warner Avenue, just west of Bolsa Chica in Huntington Beach. And by Sand Dollar Development Incorporated. Sand Dollar Development Incorporated, located at 16371 Beach Boulevard in Huntington Beach, California, has a firmly established reputation for excellence in construction and real estate development. Specializing in home building and residential construction, Sand Dollar's winning team successfully developed over $100 million of real estate in both Orange and Los Angeles counties. Randy Blanchard, owner. And by Pony Shoes. Pony Shoes, makers of America's finest athletic footwear. Pony, #1 in the 80s. Whatever your needs, Pony has the shoes for you.
Edison High School boasts a proud football tradition. Since the school's inception in 1969, the Chargers have established a winning tradition that matches any high school in America. In 1982, Coach Bill Workman would lead his team into a season fraught with questions. How would the young Chargers fare against an awesome schedule? For starters, the opener was a road game in Hawaii against mighty Punahou. The Chargers achieved a stunning victory. In all, a super road trip. Nevertheless, the tropical sands soon gave way to a very rocky road. The green and gold stumbled badly in the early going, losing 13 starters to injury. That's tough for any team to overcome, let alone a young one. When Edison finished the preseason with a 2-2-1 record, league opponents were thrilled. Revenge at last. Perhaps, but the bumps and bruises were bringing much-needed maturity, and the Chargers learned from their mistakes. Coach Workman was not used to defeat and acted quickly. The league opener against Marina saw the Chargers return to form. During the course of the league campaign, Workman would make 17 lineup changes out of the original 22 starters. Marina was the first to taste Edison's newfound confidence and coordination. The Charger defense is traditionally tough, and tonight would see a return to form. On both sides of the football, Marina was in for a long evening. The 23-7 victory meant that the Chargers were back, an explosive offense and a solid defense. Defensive coordinator Dave White was a beneficiary of Terry Lorenzen's hard-nosed defensive line. Great defense begins up front, and the 82 Chargers were no exception. The line featured junior Jeff Hipp and 3 seniors, Robert Jean, Todd Broussard, and Jeff Popkin. Hipp and Jean were all Sunset League selections, combining for 15 quarterback sacks. In 1982, the Edison defense gave up an average of only 56 yards rushing per game. Over the 13-game campaign, the Chargers held opponents to only 11 points per contest. Defensive end coach Mark Takkinen was blessed with a trio of outstanding performers, Eric Bergstrom, Rick Zumwalt, and Mark Votendahl. All three were a big part of a fearsome pass rush that recorded 46 sacks. Bergstrom set a school record with 11, and Zumwalt chipped in with 9 more. Votendahl overcame injuries to provide added pressure. Both Bergstrom and Zumwalt were all-league choices. The defensive line was ably supported by Coach Brian Gloshen's linebacking corps. Captain Shaun Takkinen had a super year. The All-Leaguer recorded 124 tackles, the school's 4th best all-time mark. Junior J.T. Thomas was also an All-League choice, and Paul Ellison and Tony Johan also had great years. Johan, an all-county selection, missed 7 games due to injury, but came back strong late in the year. The secondary was anchored by number 8, All-CIF performer Matt Hombs, the 23rd All-CIF selection in Coach Workman's 10 years at Edison. Hombs established 3 school records: interceptions in a game, a season, and a career. The Charger co-captain was also Edison's most valuable player. In 1982, the Edison defense carried a great tradition in the face of one of the nation's toughest schedules. Defensive backs Randy Hernandez, Jeff Washington, and John Steiniger played major roles. Washington was an all-league safety, helping his team record 17 interceptions. This team could count on a fine defense, a high-powered offense, and a third dimension: place kicker Jerry Graham, an all-county choice. The 5'8" senior provided a memorable moment in Charger history with this 54-yard effort against Huntington Beach, an Orange County record which brought a large smile to kicking coach Mike Pino. With Marina and Huntington Beach disposed of, the Chargers turned their attention to mighty Fountain Valley. Right away, everyone in Anaheim Stadium realized that Edison was here to play football. Throughout the first half of the year, the Charger faithful had anxiously awaited Edison's awakening. And they couldn't see their heroes in person. They had heard the action live on Edison's own 50,000-watt commercial station, KWVE-FM 108. They had listened to the great victory in Hawaii and the heartbreaking losses that followed. Now, with their own eyes, Charger fans watch Workman's team dismember arch-rival Fountain Valley. Junior quarterback John Nowotny was starting his 3rd game, and he planned to remain undefeated. With cool precision, the underclassman guided his teammates downfield. Running back Derek Griffiths got the call and tight-roped the sideline. Unfortunately, he ran out of room and was ruled out of bounds. The Chargers settled for 3, and the defense took charge. Now it was time for John Nowotny to make his mark in Edison history. The speedy signal caller hot-footed around right end, 95 yards, the longest run in Charger history. The touchdown capped a sensational victory as the Edison offense came of age. Coach Bill Workman is well aware that you have to score points to win football games. And Coach Rick Purnell knew that a strong offensive line is a big help. Number 71, Mike Loewen, was a big part of a line that averaged 6'2", 217 pounds per man. The line featured 3 All-Leaguers, Andy Sinclair, Dennis McGowan, and Mike Kulpa. Mike Wallace and George Pino also took pleasure in opening holes for running backs like number 32, Derek Griffiths, the latest in a long line of Charger superstars. Griffiths was an All-Sunset League selection, the 5th Charger back in his many years to be so honored. He follows the flying feet of Mike Dodderer, Kerwin Bell, Dino Bell, and Dave Jerod. In 1982, Griffiths enjoyed a stellar campaign. The fleet-footed senior led the team in both rushing and receiving. His 745 rushing yards included 6 touchdowns, and his 25 receptions added 146 more yards to that total. This is exciting football and a big reason why the Chargers average 10,000 fans per home game. Derek Griffiths found the end zone a familiar place. At number 44, Leonard Simpson was no stranger to its cozy confines. The senior was a great blocker as well as runner and was named Charger Back of the Year. Opponents soon discovered that the Edison ground game was deep as well as talented. Other runners included Bob Bandurak, Jeff Hipp, and John Steiniger. In 1982, the Edison Chargers rushed for almost 1,600 yards, maintaining their reputation as one of the premier running teams in Southern California. But, as usual, the ground game was only half of the Edison offense, because this team can do so much more. John Nowotny saw the Charger passing game from both ends in 1982. Although he gained his greatest glory as a quarterback, he spent the first part of the year as a top-notch wide receiver. Midway through the year, Coach Workman called upon the versatile junior to make a difficult transition, and Nowotny rose to the occasion. He completed 49% of his passes for over 600 yards and ran for 180 more. Meanwhile, Don Gibbs was making a transition of his own. The former quarterback still played catch with Nowotny, only now he was on the other end. If it sounds confusing, imagine how opposing DBs felt. Gibbs was outstanding, averaging 12 yards per catch. Receiver coach Jeff Hyder could also depend upon number 85, junior Rob Phenecie, who averaged 17 yards per reception. The Chargers also counted heavily on number 10, Jerod Jones. The all-league flanker was extremely versatile and established the highest blocking average in school history. He also returned kickoffs and recorded 14 receptions. Following the victory over Fountain Valley, the Sunset League realized that nothing had really changed. The Chargers had taken a while to come together, but this team was solid in all phases of the game. In his 10 years at Edison, Workman has achieved an amazing record of 86 wins and 23 losses, including a 32-game winning streak. The results speak for themselves. When the smoke had cleared, Edison had won the Sunset League title for the 5th consecutive year. Bill Workman's Chargers would cap a memorable campaign in the CIF playoffs against Crespi. 6 weeks ago, no one had expected these people to be here, but here they are for the 9th straight year. Tonight's opponents would soon face a fundamental fact of life that Sunset League foes know all too well. The Chargers can score as quickly as their name implies. The Edison defense was determined to share the glory. An interception by John Thomas set the stage for more fireworks. A Nowotny to Phenecie pass play set up a Derek Griffiths touchdown. 14-3 Chargers. When Crespi tried to return the favor, they were frustrated at every turn. Edison smelled victory. To prove it was no fluke, Griffiths scored again, and this time from 47 yards out. The rout was on. The second half saw the Edison defense rise to new heights. The white-clad visitors were helpless against the green tidal wave that threatened to engulf them. Trailing badly late in the game, Crespi took to the air, or at least they tried to. The fierce Charger pass rush was a force unto itself. And now it was time to finish it. Jeff Hipp plowed into the end zone, and the Chargers were victorious. 1982 was a super year for Bill Workman and the Edison Chargers. Given up for dead, the young Chargers roared back to reach the CIF semifinals, adding another glorious page to the Edison football legend. And next year, with 5 All-Leaguers returning and opening 1983 against defending CIF champion Damien High, plus a renewed commitment to excellence, prospects look better than ever. The 1982 Edison Chargers return to glory.